Imagine standing on a dusty road at dawn. Before you, stretching farther than your eyes can follow, is not a caravan, not a parade, but a city on the move. Smoke from campfires still hangs in the air. The sound of mules braying mixes with the dull thud of sandals. And all around you, thousands of men are tightening belts, strapping on armor, and preparing for another endless day of marching. This isn't just an army, it's the Roman legion, a living machine, part fortress, part beast, part empire on legs. For the next 15 minutes, we'll step inside this machine. Hour by hour, step by step, we'll follow Rome's soldiers, their slaves, their animals, and their officers through a single day on the march. By the end, you might be wondering, could I survive even one of these days? When we picture a legion, we imagine neat rows of soldiers with red shields and polished helmets. But the reality was far bigger. During the High Empire, a typical campaign might send out 2 full legions, about 13,000 highly trained legionaries. Alongside them were 5,000 to 6,000 auxiliaries, cavalry from Numidia, archers from Syria, slingers from Hispania, Germanic infantry. They weren't Roman citizens, but they fought for pay and, more importantly, the hope of citizenship. That's nearly 20,000 armed men already. Now, add in slaves, cooks, servants, mule drivers, carpenters, blacksmiths, another 3,000 to 4,000 people, and the animals. A legion on campaign could bring 4,500 to 5,000 mules, plus cavalry horses, officers' mounts, and oxen pulling carts. Each beast carried 100 to 130 kilos of wood, rations, stakes, tools, even disassembled artillery. Put it all together, and you have a moving population of 25,000 to 30,000 living beings. Men, animals, carts, weapons, and wagons stretched out across the landscape. One ancient writer said a marching Roman army looked like a wall of flesh in motion. It wasn't an exaggeration. A legion could stretch 8 to 12 kilometers down the road. The front might already be fording a river while the rear was still dismantling last night's camp. So, how do you move something that massive every single day? The Roman day began in darkness. Between 3 and 4 in the a.m., during what they called the fourth watch of the night, the first sound wasn't shouting or swords clashing. It was hooves. The speculatores, mounted scouts, slipped out of camp long before sunrise. They rode ahead to check for ambushes, suspicious villages, or obstacles. Their job was to make sure nothing interrupted the advance of what was coming behind them. Back in camp, the cornu, a great brass instrument, blasted briefly. Centurions barked orders. Every group of 8 soldiers, a contubernium, tore down its leather tent, packed it, inspected weapons, tightened belts, and prepared for another endless day of marching. Each man marched with 20 to 30 kilos on his back. Armor and helmet, shield and sword, javelins, cooking pot and rations for 3 days, stakes for fortifications, digging tools. They weren't just warriors, they were builders, carriers, engineers on the move. Meanwhile, officers met in the praetorium, the commander's tent. Reports from scouts were reviewed, routes chosen, enemy rumors considered. The army avoided marshes, steep ridges, or places perfect for ambush. At the same time, the animals were prepared. Mules fed, harnesses checked, carts lined up. One broken axle could delay thousands of men, so the supply train, the impedimenta, had to run like clockwork. By the time the first light broke, the head of the column was already moving. At the very front marched the vanguard. This wasn't a token guard, it was a lethal mix of auxiliaries. Numidian cavalry, fast and agile, Syrian archers with deadly bows, Thracian and Gallic skirmishers, light infantry ready to sprint or fight in seconds. Their mission was brutal and simple: clear the road. That meant facing ambushes, dismantling traps, forcing hostile villagers into obedience, and warning the main body if disaster lay ahead. Sometimes they were 3 kilometers ahead of the corps. If they were wiped out, the whole army could be ambushed before it even knew danger was coming. That's why Rome only put hardened veterans in this role. Behind them came the agrimensaries, the surveyors. Armed with ropes and tools like the groma, they marked the ground for the night's camp before the army even arrived. They had to pick high, dry ground near water and wood, with open space for battle if needed. Choose wrong, and the legion might spend the night exposed, or worse, starving in mud.